Cubbon Park has been closed to vehicles actually ever since the beginning of the lockdown. It's been closed for vehicles and it's just been used for walkers. And believe me, in a city like Bengaluru, which is crowded, full of traffic, full of noise, a park is a precious place indeed. But with traffic having been stopped, it was even nicer in Cubbon Park. But now the government seems to have decided to allow traffic once again. And a group, Heritage Beku, is very, very upset about this. They want traffic out of the park. And Priya Chetty Rajgopal actually joins us to speak about the park, the vehicles, and to see whether, in fact, what can be done to keep the vehicles out. Now, Priya, what is the background of this? Why do you not want vehicles in Cubbon Park?
Thank you, Maya. The matter goes a little further back than that, if I may. So the letter to the Chief Secretary is the only immediate issue that has come to light. To take you back a little, about 2 years ago is when we put up a petition, an online petition, requesting for 365-day traffic-free Cubbon Park. So that gathered a fair amount of signatures, and I think at that time there was obviously some resistance, but we did push ahead for it. Then came COVID, where we also had the Smart City project that had been mooted in Cubbon Park, a lot of conversations around Cubbon Park that existed. So with that, we revived this issue and we said that with the huge amount of, the benefit that the park was gaining, the lotus pond was blooming for the first time. The bamboos had started to come back, the trees, the flowers. I mean, the biodiversity was absolutely amazing. So it was a good time. We spoke to experts, which came from IISc, from transportation, from ecology, biodiversity. We had spoken to many experts, including traffic and police people, on what the implications would be. We put that all to a representation, sent it to the mayor, and of course all the other dignitaries. We had the good fortune to speak to both, people like Mr. Mohan, Mr. Rishad, who's the MLA for Shivajinagar. We spoke, and Mr. Gautam, who was the mayor, was extremely helpful. So Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, a whole bunch of people who were really for this as citizens. So it went ahead, and we were, with these expert opinions, with the formal letter from Heritage Beku, it went to the BBMP Council, where it was unanimously passed by the entire councillor on the 30th of June. So this is a good thing, right? 30th of June, you have something which has gone through and it has reached the BBMP Commissioner's office. Hopefully it will be implemented in the near future. Normally, what tends to happen is we say that, let's try this rule for some time and if it works, let's continue with it. That's a normal thing. We've had 6 months by some terrible tragedy, but yet some happenstance and serendipity that Cubbon Park has been closed to traffic for 6 months, and we have seen the benefit of it. So there seems to be nothing wrong in continuing with that. Our dipstick survey very clearly shows that traffic has not been affected at all. So whether you look at people who are driving through, who have given us feedback, or people who are physically around park, whether it's security guards or police, we've been talking to them. So there's been no impact. So we are not, I just want to set the context that we are not doing the chest beating, hyperventilating, you can't touch my Cubbon Park. We've gone through a very rigorous process of civil society, expert opinion, talking to stakeholders like police, political class, bureaucrats, and doing a dipstick survey before we went ahead.
Now, you do say, of course, that traffic will not be affected. You've done your survey, but traffic in the city is quite disastrous, and many people would just think, let's have the traffic. If it shortens the journey, let cars go through Cubbon Park. Why would it be so bad for the park if there is traffic?
Yes. That is a very good point, because this is when we have to figure out that how are we offsetting the huge detriment from an ecological, from air quality. This is not just for people around Cubbon Park, this is for the whole city. How are we taking away the lung space that we are going to ventilators for in hospitals for the minor advantage of perhaps a 1 or 2 faster time through Cubbon Park? And once that happens, it can't be rolled back. I believe that this is a very retrograde step. And I also believe that the fact that this has happened so suddenly, to give credit to both the bureaucracy and the political class, I do believe that everything has been going so well that perhaps there's an error. There's a drop, or there's a it may have missed. It's the small things that just miss the eye of the senior people, and this has suddenly happened. The good thing is that at least the civil society and people who are concerned about the park like us have stepped up to preempt it before anything went wrong. So that is the plus side. But we hope, and we're giving full credit to the bureaucracy, that I'm sure they've got their hands full with so many things. We don't want to be a blip on the radar longer than we have to, but they must sort this out so we don't take any of their valuable time. But this, however understanding we are of the system, we are very categoric that this must be rolled back. Nobody questions Lal Bagh. Nobody questions Lal Bagh. Today I had a quick discussion with the DD of Cubbon Park, and he was telling me, he says, no, you can't compare it to Lal Bagh. Lal Bagh, doesn't have traffic for the last 20 years. But I said, 20 years ago, who stopped the traffic in Lal Bagh? It was you. So I said, that's what we need to understand, that some things, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Let's not go back on this first step now.
And I know you're optimistic that it may be just a bureaucratic mistake and the traffic will be stopped. But what will your group, Heritage Beku, do in case traffic is permitted?
I'm sorry if I sound extremely extreme on this, because we've been trying to be very, very collaborative, and we have been so far. But I don't think the citizens will allow it.
Priya Chetty Rajgopal, thank you very much for joining us there. This group fighting to keep traffic out of Cubbon Park.